Why, hello, YouTube world. This is me, AJ Capricorn. You can call me Ariel if you like. AJ also suits me quite well. So, would you like to know the secrets of becoming bendy? Let me tell you. Practice, 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 practice. If you want your body to do something, you have to ask it to do it over and over again. The more you ask it and you start asking it with precision, you start asking it to do it in other ways, your body might just start agreeing with you. And so often when it comes to flexibility, it takes practice. And it's one of those practices that you don't see progress in right away. It takes time, and you'll progress without knowing it. If you stay consistent, you'll suddenly make progress, or really not quite suddenly, more like slow progression, like a snail trail. But it does happen. So here I have today for you an option to practice your flexibility and become more bendy with me. As I practice, you practice with me, and you ask yourself to get bendier and bendier. Here we go. First things first, find some comfy clothes, or at least comfy-ish you can stretch in, a yoga mat, or a squishy place. We'll probably end up using some blocks, or you could use some books, or if a couch is nearby to help prop yourself up for good alignment. Beginning on your yoga mat, or where you're practicing your flexibility, standing tall and rocking forwards and backwards, exploring that ankle flexibility and where your center is, squeezing the butt, lifting the pelvis. Find that stretch all the way through the top of your spine. Then, nice big inhale. And then raise arms to the sky, interlacing fingers and turning those palms up to the sky. Feel that stretch up tall, and then arch the hips back and reach the chest forward. Exhale, round them both in, and we'll do one, arching back. Exhale, round, two, arch back, round forward. Last one, arch it back, round forward, and then we'll go into circles. Circling from the hands and the hips, 2 times one direction, and then pause in the center, switch directions, rounding and arching. Find your flow as big or little as you like. Stand up tall, release the arms, and we'll find a forward fold. Really make it from your tailbone and your hips. The tops of the hips are coming down and the tailbone's reaching upwards. So you can find that length in the back, and then allow the hands to help support your spine long. Find that length and shift the weight a little bit forward into the toes. Quads should be locked and strong. You're pushing the feet into the floor. And then find a deep bend in the knees so you can really lay your tummy on your thighs. This way your spine is very supported, and you can relax your head to be heavy towards the ground. You can keep hands on the ground or grab opposite elbows, maybe find a sway or enjoy stillness. And then reach those arms to find the floor, as now we're going to walk those hands forward into an inverted V or down dog-like position. As you find that nice stance, keep the arms strong as you wiggle those hips and knees. Press the ground away. Feel that engagement all the way up your back. Take a pause and round your spine like an angry cat, shifting forward as though you're in a plank, and then sending hips back. You can bend at the knee to try to keep the spine straight and move back and forth here. Rounding forward, sending the hips back, rounding forward, hips back, bend deep in the knees, round forward, and then bend the knees to come all the way onto the floor. Big inhale and draw the arms back. Exhale, round forward. Inhale, arch, opening chest. Exhale, round forward. And place the hands onto the floor. Really pour the weight into your fingertips. It should be on that first knuckle joint where the fingers and palm meet each other. That's where you want the most pressure, so it's happy on the wrist. Think about gas pedals. You're pressing your hand like gas pedals. So feel that weight. Press into your gas pedals. Find the strength in your arms. Eyes of the elbows forward. That's a part of like kind of the crotch of the elbow, anti-cubical region. Point that forward so triceps are engaged, and then do a few rocks forward and back, warming up those wrists. Feeling your gas pedals pressing down. Pull the tummy in, keep it gently engaged as you find hip width distance apart. Flip the toes under, arch it and round it for 3, 2, and 1. And then you're going to find that neutral spine and float the knees up. This is a nice tummy engagement. Still press the ground down. Still find the gas pedal. Shoulders are strong. Belly is up, in, and tight. Then rest the knees down. Knees can be wide. Stretch out to your child's pose. Head resting on the floor. You can have those toes touching. Let everything be long. Find a nice steady breath. And then round your spine to stack it up tall, kneeling. I'm going to work towards some split preparations. So find that couch next to you or those blocks to help prop you up. And you're going to send one foot forward here and work into your 90-90 position. If that knee is sensitive, flip up the block, use a blanket, give yourself some extra support. Okay, back to that 90-90. So front knee's 90, back knee's 90. And then after we did that, you're just going to straighten that leg out and rock forward and back. I'm kind of moving my blocks of the way so you can see if you need to. And then keep reaching forward and back. You're driving those hips forward, dragging them forward and squeezing your butt to push the hips open. Back and forth. Keep finding that breath. Keep loosening up the hips on the sides. Still feel your tummy engaged from the lower part of your belly under that belly button. And then we're going to hold. Really press those hips forward. Pull the hips back. You want space between the tummy and the thigh, so you can see your belly button. They're not touching. I'm not sinking down. I'm not finding that arch. I'm pulling the belly button up and pressing the hips forward. You should create a nice stretch in that hip flexor as we hold here. Shoulders to be stacked on top of the hips or lean back a little bit farther. Like I said, you can always check by making sure you can see your belly button. Then send those hips back. And find a long spine. This is like we did before, where I'm lifting that tail up and pulling the top of the hip towards my thigh. I'm flexing the toes and reaching it towards my nose. You should find that nice stretch all the way through the body. I'm not rounding, not rounding. I really want to send that tailbone up to the sky and hips towards my thigh, opening up the back side of my thigh in that hamstring region. And release. Rock it forward and backwards. Loosen it up for a moment. It should feel a little more open than it did before. And then you're going to flip those back toes under so you can straighten that knee. Make sure the hips stay still. You're just trying to straighten the leg without the hips raising any bit. Do a few here. And then lay that knee down and go into that full split. I like to flex both feet to try to make sure hips are in line. Nice big toe is planted behind you. And then you're trying to keep those shoulders on top of the hips. Some people might arch into the back. I'm kind of a culprit for one of those people, so I really have to work on that back bending and allowing my hip flexors to open. And then, of course, you can point those toes and sink down. Find your breath. Easy breathing. And come on out. You did it. Other side. Yeah, you got two sides. Send that foot forward. Find that 90-90. And then straighten out that leg and rock forwards and backwards. Easing into the hamstring on the other side. Opening the hip on the other side. Rocking forward and back. Using your supports. Flexing the foot. Bending the knee. Driving the hips forward. I'm even trying to get out of my hip by keeping my shoulders forward. It's better if you can come up tall. That's okay. We'll do it now, holding the stretch. Really shift the hips forward. Again, check to make sure that tummy is away from the thigh. Check to see if you look down that you can see your belly button. As you squeeze your underbutt, press into the top of the foot. Find that engagement of the back foot pressing into the floor as you lift your spine up. Head stacked over hips or shifting shoulders slightly backwards as you find your stretch on your hip flexor. Breathing and holding and release. Sink the hips back. Remember, really try to bring the tops of the hips down. Pull the tummy in and pull the hips down. Lift the tailbone up, up, up. And then add the flex of the foot to get that extra calf stretch. There we go. I did it too. Reach the toes and the nose towards one another. Breathe and find that edge. Stretching is uncomfortable, not sharpshooting pain, but is definitely uncomfortable. Release. Rock it forward and back. Loosen it up before we hit the split on this side. Rocking forwards and backwards. Forwards. And then, oh yeah, catch-up dips. Flip those toes under and straighten that knee while you keep the hips low. These are wonderful and awful at the same time. Let that knee set down. Top of the foot presses into the floor, or you can do that double flex foot like last time to try to keep the hips nice and square, not letting that back hip open up too much. You're trying to close the hips and slightly turn them forward as you send yourself as low as you are today. Every day is going to be different. Let it be there. See, this is my other side that's just tighter. You gotta be with it. It's okay. Breathe and sink down. Find the engagement in the legs. It's sort of like they're scissoring together towards one another while you allow yourself to slowly sink down. I actually need to shift my shoulders a little bit farther back here now that I can see the video. I'm always trying to sneak out of my hip flexors. So if you have a mirror, that's a really great learning tool. Okay, come on out and loosen those hips up. You can get anything, obstacles out of your bottom. And just circle those hips. Let the knees bend. Move the knees, move the feet. And you can keep doing that as I'm going to turn to the side and show you another hip check. If you're rounded like this and your spine's rounded, grab a block or anything that can prop your butt up until you can kind of find that duck butt arch in your spine. This is going to allow you to open up that connection of the hamstrings right underneath your hip bones there. So be honest with yourself. You got to meet yourself where you're at and work where you are. So just, yeah, it can be frustrating, but it's going to get better. So here we are. We're in the straddle. Squeeze your butt to pull your legs nice and wide. Find that engagement. You want to find engagement to find the opposite muscles stretching. And then rock the hips down and back, rocking the tops of the hips down and back. Keep the belly pulled in. I have a nice long spine. I'm thinking about a rod from my tailbone up through the top of my head as I keep rocking forward and back. Reach long through the toes, strong and engaged, and then float here. Leaning down, pull those legs out wide. Keep squeezing the butt to pull the legs wider. Press the feet to the floor and then reach the arms forward. Walking the arms as far forward as they will be, but keeping those legs super engaged. Thighs are locked, toes are reaching away. Butt is squeezing to pull legs farther apart as you keep on stretching down. Breathe and reach those fingers a little bit farther. Feel your spine getting longer, slowly sinking lower. Breathe and reach. And come back out. Whew, you're done there. Rock those legs out. Little windshield wiper knees here. Loosen up the hips. Loosen any tightness. Find your regular breath again in case you were holding it during the last stretch. Let it all go. Then you're going to work towards a puppy pose. So if you need some knee padding, you can get that. And you want to make sure your hips and your knees are stacked on top of one another for this. Then you're going to walk those hands far forward like a cat stretching. You can have little tent hands if you want a little extra in the shoulders, and reach the chest forward. If this is way too much, here's some modifications. Of course, hands could be flat, or you could use elbows and just kind of start to press back to try to feel the armpits open, or prop yourself up on those blocks or books or something higher as you then also press back, bringing the floor a little closer to you. Otherwise, if you are pretty open today, keep on sinking down. It's better if you can get that throat to the floor, but if the neck's sensitive, then it's fine to kind of kiss the floor. Press weight into the tops of the feet, and oh, look, my hip shifted a little too far forward. If you are looking, great. If you're not, try to keep those hips far enough back. Breathe. Find that last little round of breath in through the rib cage. And then round yourself forward onto your elbows into a Sphinx pose. I'm going to flip my toes under so I can straighten those knees. Press the pelvis into the floor. Plant the elbows and pull your heart forward as you lift tall through the head. Breathe and hold here. Feeling that engagement, the elbows pressing down into the floor, pulling the heart forward, pressing the pelvis in, belly in, and release. Set up in that tabletop again. Remember those gas pedal hands, press the fingers down, and now arch and round the spine. Loosen it up. Find your strong tummy muscles to support both sides of the movement. And now time for some disco kitties. Round the spine, circle the head, one direction, loosening it up, and then change directions. Round the and circle the other direction with the head, ribs, and hips. Breathe and circle, always breathing, and find yourself into center. And then we're going to work into what I call some dancing camels. Have about hip width distance apart where your thighs are coming right outside of those hip bones straight forward. I'm going to be swinging my arm around, placing it down, and sending the hips forward. And you can add the hand on top, but know this is actually quite a bit extra weight. So if you prefer, you can keep that hand on your tummy or by that hip as you drop back, really pushing your heart up. You're not crunching into your lower spine. Then you swoop hands to the other side, squeeze the butt to lift the hips, press the heart up, maybe adding the hand. Just because I am doesn't mean you should. And join me if you haven't already, switching back and forth. You can hold longer than I am or go a little bit quicker if you prefer, but just try to find that squeeze of the butt and the lift of the heart up as you press the ground away. One more time here, each side, squeeze the hips up, open it up, other side. Okay, just joking, it feels really good. Let's do one more, nice little extra. Squeeze the hips up, reach the arm back, and then send your body all the way to the floor. You can interlace those hands so you can rest your forehead down, find that breath. Whenever we're on our bellies like this, you can find a nice big belly breath to expand your ribs and massage your spine as you release. And then time for more movement. Place those hands by your side and try to grab those ankles. If you can't grab them, you can keep hands by the side. You'll lift everything up. If you do have them, then you're going to kick those feet into those hands. Let your shoulders be pulled back. Look up. Gently squeeze the knees together. Lift up and look up. Breathe. Inhale, lift up higher. Exhale, lift up to your highest and come back down. Let those legs go. Turn one ear onto the yoga mat so you can find a gentle neck release as you find those big belly breaths, totally relaxing, letting everything reset before our next posture. And then here we go. Place that head to the center. Arms out to the letter T like arm plane wings. Zip those legs together like a cobra tail. Inhale and lift up. Fly up. Tops with the fingers at the tops of the head and then pull everything back. Lift the feet up. Lift the arms up. Come back down. Arms at your side. Other ear to the mat. Breathe and release. Totally relax here. Let the spine ease with your breath. Let the feet relax. Let your neck gently open with this twist. One more round of breath. And then press yourself up. This time, we're going to have knees together as the toes are touching and send the hips back. Lay your tummy onto your thighs and as best you can, let that forehead rest towards the ground, whether it touches or not. Use your breath to let your spine reset, letting it be nice and long, stretching those fingertips extra forward, extra far away as you sink the hips back. Then tuck the tail and round the spine to stack it all the way upright. Crisscross those legs and pass them in front of you. Have the feet planted nice and strong, hips width distance apart, and then hand placement. I like an extra stretch in the bicep. If you want that, have your fingers facing forward towards your bottom. If that's going to be too much on your wrist, you can have fingers turned backwards or even sideways, and you can experiment to see which one you like. I personally need the extra stretch in my biceps, so I'm going to have my fingers forward towards my hips, plant the feet strong, and then reverse tabletop. I'm going to scoop my belly in, squeeze my butt. Really try to roll the shoulder blades together as you're making a flat line with your body. Keep pressing nice and high, and then sink it down. I'm going to do a few rocks here. Press the hips forward, bring them down, press the hips up, bring them down. Really roll through the shoulder blades. Keep on rocking forward and backwards. Keep holding the belly button in. Squeeze the shoulder blades, and now freeze. Hold it there. Breathe. Squeeze the shoulder blades together more. Really try to get that chest to open. Press your fingertips into the floor and send the hips down. Circle those wrists out, loosen any tension. Last little thing coming up here is we need to turn those abs on after all that back bending that we did. So we feel like we can walk without sore spines. All right, plant those feet. You're going to try to keep the feet planted as best you can, and we're going to roll each vertebrae by vertebrae down to the floor. Work on those challenge areas. All right, nice big inhale. Tuck the tail under and slowly try to get that sacrum bone on, and then try to work towards your lumbar touching. This is usually the hardest spot. And then the thoracic, shoulders touch, head touch, reverse. Tuck the chin, roll the shoulders forward, reach those fingers forward like someone's pulling you all the way up. Go back down, tuck the tail, round that lower spine. Try to go a little bit slower where you feel it getting hard. Pull that tummy in, then release all the way down. Shoulders touch, head touch, come back up, round it up. Have a few more here. Tuck the tail, round it down all the way. Shoulder touch, head touch, come back up. Tuck the chin. Reach for those fingers like someone's helping you pull you up by your hands. All right, let's do 3 more total. Tuck the tail, round it all the way down. Shoulders touch, head touch, come back up. Tuck the chin, reach the hands forward, pull yourself up. Should be getting stronger. 2 more times. Tuck the tail, round it down. Nice precision. Shoulders, head, tuck it back up all the way. Last one. Nice and slow. Work that tail, work the lumbar. Once the shoulders, head touch, you get to stay here. You did it. Celebration time. You can give a little hug of those knees if it feels good to get that spine long. Maybe rock it a little bit side to side. Massage that neck if there's any tension there. Give yourself a little hug because you did such a good job. Oh, and if you would like a bonus, you can do crisscrossy, kicky legs. Not required, but if you want a little extra, you can add this in. Really keep your belly engaged, spine flat to the floor as you kick forward and back. Forward and back, and then catch one leg, grab it where it's available, thigh, calf, and pull it towards you. You do not need to look like me. Just find your best stretch. Be kind to your body as you pull the legs apart. And then a few more scissor kicks, and then snatch up that other leg. Pull the legs apart. Find just where it's uncomfortable. No shooting pain. Breathe and stretch. And release. A few more scissor kicks, and then bend both knees and kick your butt. You're waking up those hamstrings. You're celebrating. And you're done. Thanks for being flexible with me. May you have more flexible days in your future. Bye. Oh yeah, like subscribe, follow me, comment. Let me know what you want. Let me know how I can improve for you.